Welcome back to Quiz Gentry, your favorite quiz channel for all things maritime. From construction to voyages, sinking, scrapping, or wreck, each quiz will challenge your knowledge of maritime history. Today, let's test our knowledge of the tragic fate of Britannic with 25 fascinating questions and just 8 seconds to answer each. But before we begin, we ask that you consider subscribing to the channel. Hit the bell to stay updated with our quizzes testing your knowledge of iconic vessels. Now, let's dive in to see how well you know about Britannic's final hours. Okay friends, let's start with the easy bite. When did Britannic sink? Was it 1914, 1916, or 1918? "1916 is correct. Britannic sank during the First World War, marking a significant maritime tragedy of the era. The sinking is remembered for its impact on naval history. Question 2 says, where did Britannic sink? We have the Aegean Sea, Atlantic Ocean, or Mediterranean. Yes, Aegean Sea. The ship sank in a historically significant sea near southern Europe. The location has since become a site of interest for maritime explorers. This one should be easy, and it says, what caused Britannic's sinking? Torpedo, mine, or collision? Mine it was. The ship's sinking was triggered by an underwater explosion caused by a wartime device. This event highlighted the dangers of naval mines in maritime warfare. Another commonly asked question here, and it says, how long did Britannic take to sink? 30 minutes, 55 minutes, or 2 hours? "55 minutes. The ship sank rapidly, showcasing the devastating effects of structural damage. This duration was crucial in determining the success of the evacuation efforts. Question 5. What time of day did Britannic sink? You have morning, afternoon, or night to choose from. It was morning. The ship sank at about 7 minutes past the hour 9, after being hit by the mine at 12 minutes past the hour 8. The daylight timing allowed better visibility in the rescue efforts. 6. How many people died during the sinking? 30, 50, or 80? A relatively small number of lives were lost compared to similar maritime disasters. Safety measures in place contributed to this lower casualty count. Question 7 here is a reverse from the last, and it says, how many survived Britannic's sinking? 1,036, 1,005, or 1,030? "1,036. Most of the people on board were rescued successfully during the emergency. The effective evacuation highlighted the readiness of the crew and medical personnel. 8. What island is near Britannic's wreck? Options are Crete, Kea, or Santorini. Yes, it's Kea. The wreck lies near a prominent island known for its proximity to maritime routes. This island has since become a point of interest for shipwreck researchers. 9. What type of mine did Britannic hit to sink? Landmine, naval mine, or tunneling mine? Naval mine. The cause of the ship's sinking was an underwater hazard associated with wartime operations. This type of threat was common during World War I. Question 10. How did Britannic's ball sink? Did it explode, capsize, or submerge? You are correct if you chose submerged. The ball went underwater first, due to extensive structural damage and flooding. This contributed to the rapid descent of the vessel into the sea. 11. What speed was Britannic traveling when it sank? 17 knots, 20 knots, or 21 knots? "17 knots. The ship was maintaining a steady speed when the incident occurred. This operational speed was typical for its role at the time. 12. How many lifeboats were launched? The figures are 35, 30, or 48. 35. Several lifeboats were deployed successfully to evacuate passengers and crew. The lifeboats played a critical role in the survival of those on board. 13. What was Britannic's role during the sinking? Hospital ship, passenger liner, or cargo ship? Hospital ship. The ship was performing a humanitarian role at the time of its loss. It had been repurposed to serve in this capacity during the war. Technical question here, and it says, what exploded on Britannic after the mine? Boilers, fuel tanks, or engines? Boilers. The explosion affected a key mechanical system, exacerbating the damage. This further contributed to the ship's rapid sinking. Question 15. How many watertight compartments flooded? 4, 6, or 5? 6. Flooding compromised the ship's ability to stay afloat, overwhelming its design limitations. The rapid flooding made it impossible to save the vessel. 16. What prevented full evacuation of lifeboats? Propellers, fire, or waves? Propellers. A mechanical obstacle caused complications during the evacuation process. This issue resulted in several lifeboat accidents and added to the chaos. 17. Who was Britannic's captain during the sinking? Charles Bartlett. The captain demonstrated leadership in managing the situation and ensuring passenger safety. He was highly regarded for his maritime expertise. 18. How did crews signal distress during sinking? Rockets, radios, or flags? Radios. Communication systems were used to alert nearby vessels and authorities of the emergency. These systems were crucial in coordinating rescue efforts. 19. What ship rescued Britannic survivors? HMS Riviera, HMS Scourge, or HMS Hound? HMS Scourge. Survivors were brought to safety by a nearby vessel equipped to assist. The timely arrival of the rescue ship minimized further loss of life. 20. How was the sea condition during sinking? Calm, rough, or stormy? Calm. Favorable weather conditions contributed to effective rescue operations. Calm seas helped ensure that lifeboats could be launched smoothly. 21. How far was Britannic from shore? 4 miles, 2 miles, or 6 miles? Two miles. The ship sank relatively close to the coastline, aiding in the rescue of survivors. This proximity was a key factor in the success of the operation. 22. What happened to the stern after the sinking? Capsized, raised, or submerged? Submerged. The stern eventually followed the bow into the depths due to the extent of the damage. This marked the complete descent of the ship underwater. 23. What impact breached Britannic's hull? Explosion impact, collision impact, or flooding impact? Explosion impact. A catastrophic event caused a breach in the ship's hull, leading to flooding. The explosion was a result of wartime dangers faced by such vessels. 24. What flag was Britannic flying during sinking? British, Greek, or French? British. The ship was under the control of its home nation, Britain, during its final voyage. This flag reflected its official role during the war effort. Our last question of the day, friends. What decks suffered the worst flooding? Lower decks, bridge deck, or boat deck? Lower decks. A specific section of the ship experienced extensive water ingress, contributing to the rapid sinking. These decks were critical to the ship's structural integrity. Thank you for watching, friends. See you in the next quiz. Bye-bye.